With the recent successes of 2015's Star Wars The Force Awakens and 2016's Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, it's official. Star Wars is back. Fans of the original films and young new fans alike are loving the new movies coming out of Lucasfilm, and they want to get their hands on all the information they can about the films they love. That's what we're here for, and we're excited to bring you our latest list of 10 things you didn't know about Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Enjoy this video and be sure to subscribe to CBR for more awesome content every single day. The whole idea. While the idea to do standalone Star Wars films alongside the main episodes may have come from George Lucas himself, the idea for the plot of Rogue One actually came from a surprising source. Apparently, the idea to base the first standalone on A New Hope's opening scroll actually came from a visual effects supervisor named John Knoll. Knoll had been working at Lucasfilm for a very long time and decided to write a 7-page pitch, which eventually would be approved and turned into Rogue One. Knoll was super nervous to do this, but he said the fear of regretting not doing it is what pushed him through. Period lenses. Sometimes it can be hard to get the right look for your film, and director Gareth Edwards was definitely faced with a tough task when he started making plans to film this standalone Star Wars movie. Rogue One is famously set before the events of Episode 4, A New Hope, which of course was filmed in the 1970s. Because of this, the filmmakers behind Rogue One had to use very specific period lenses on the cameras in order to create the look that matched the original movies. In the end, the movie looked great, and also did a really solid job of paying homage to the original films. Riz Ahmed. With all the success the Star Wars franchise has had, it's not really surprising to hear that a lot of actors have been very keen to play roles in the new movies. While there have been some pretty crazy stories, nothing compares to how Riz Ahmed made sure he would get a part in Rogue One. Ahmed, who plays Bodhi Rook in the film, was so excited at the chance of being in a Star Wars film that he actually sent 500 takes of just one scene for his audition. The filmmakers said they knew they wanted to cast him right away, but for some reason the actor felt like sending in hundreds of takes was absolutely necessary. Cassian Andor's jacket. Between Star Wars The Force Awakens and Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, there are definitely more than a few references to the older films in forms of locations, characters, and even costumes. At one point in Rogue One, Cassian is seen wearing a blue and white jacket while he is on Adu for the mountain mission. If fans thought the jacket looked familiar, they were right, as it was actually influenced by the jacket Han Solo famously wore in The Empire Strikes Back. When you take a look at the two coats side by side, it's crystal clear that Rogue One is harkening back to Episode 5. HighTech Stormtrooper costumes. While Rogue One did make a point to reuse some of the old locations and references some of the old costumes, it also made sure to use the new age technology we have today, and updated some aspects of the Star Wars world. In the original Star Wars movies, the Stormtrooper costumes are very simple, and they were actually given a lot of details with stickers and paint. Rogue One decided to update this and actually built more high-tech Stormtrooper suits with 3-dimensional vents and details. This was a great choice, as the old stickers probably would have looked very cheap on the high-definition cameras that are used in movies today. Saying the title. It's always a fun, tongue-in-cheek moment when a movie's dialogue says its own title out loud, but a lot of fans might not know that Rogue One is the only Star Wars movie that actually says its title out loud in the film, and it's uttered by Bodhi Rook. Rogue One also brought another first to the Star Wars world by being the first movie in the franchise to not make any mention of a Skywalker. Rogue One wasn't just a good Star Wars movie. It proved in many ways that it was a great standalone movie on its own, and it's able to be separate but still connected to the original saga. Improvised lines. It's always fun to hear that actors made up some of their lines right there on the spot while filming their movies, but this is a practice that is usually reserved for comedies. As it turns out, Alan Tudyk actually improvised a lot of his lines and actions while playing Jyn Erso. His most famous improvised moment in the film came when he actually slapped Cassian Andor, which must have made the rest of the cast very surprised. On top of that, Forrest Whitaker's line, "What will you become?" was also improvised, but that line ended up being used only in the trailer and was cut from the final film. Casting Jyn Erso. As we mentioned before, a lot of actors are keen to land roles in Star Wars movies, as they know it will bring them a lot of success and probably a little bit of money too. When the role of Jyn Erso was being cast, the filmmakers tried out a few different actresses for the part. Tatiana Maslany, Rooney Mara, and Kate Mara all auditioned for the female lead role, but it finally went to Felicity Jones. Jones is fantastic in the movie and has been putting out a lot of hits in recent years. We understand why this was such a sought-after role, as it actually marked the first time that a female received top billing in a Star Wars film. Cut Darth Vader scene. It's extremely exciting to see Darth Vader back again, but fans were somewhat disappointed when the villain only ended up in 2 scenes in the final movie. What's really weird about this is that neither of those scenes were the one we got to see in the trailer, that featured Vader standing in front of the red schematics. This trailer image was absolutely epic, but it turns out it might have just been a tease to get fans excited for the film. Rogue One did also go through some reshoots, so perhaps that Vader moment got lost in that process. Either way, it's too bad. The Last Jedi cameo. In 2015's Star Wars The Force Awakens, audiences were treated to some pretty awesome cameos, like those made by Simon Pegg and Daniel Craig. As it turns out, Rogue One decided to continue the tradition by hiding a few famous celebs in their film. The most interesting cameo from Rogue One is actually Rian Johnson, who of course is the writer and director of Star Wars Episode 8, which we now know is called The Last Jedi. In Rogue One, Johnson briefly appears playing an Imperial trooper controlling the Death Star's super laser. And this cameo is just another fun way that the standalone film connects to the main episodes. So there you have it. There's our list of 10 things you probably didn't know about Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Which one of these facts was your favorite? What other crazy Rogue One stories do you know about? Sound off in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more fun videos like this one. Thanks for watching.